Okay, we're live. So with Rachel, we will be going through her Mars in Virgo in the 8th, square Jupiter in Sagittarius in the 11th. Okay. So Rachel, are you a student?
No, I'm working.
What do you work?
I've changed jobs multiple times, but currently I work as an IT consultant.
Okay. What is an IT consultant?
Okay, so I implement software solutions for different clients. So, for example, if there's a client who wants to, let's say he wants to migrate the company's emails from on premises to cloud, then that's what we handle. So it's more of a service come technical kind of role.
Okay. There I hear your Mars in Virgo in the 8th
Mm,
because you're migrating somebody else's email server, right? So that would be the 8th house. Somebody else is hiring you to do something for them. Mars, 8th house. And it's the email, which is Virgo, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, right? So IT, information, Mercury. And the square with Jupiter and Sag for me is that you're taking them from uh classical enterprise, whatever they used to do, and you're advancing them. You're migrating them to the cloud, Sagittarius.
that is right.
Okay. So I guess you must be pretty intelligent to do IT.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch what you were saying.
Um, what more can you say about being in the IT field?
Would it help if I spoke about the different jobs that I have had? Because this is like
Oh,
my latest job, but then I've like had several jobs that I just changed like every 2 years.
okay, that's good because Mars and Jupiter are both in mutable signs, right?
Okay.
So doing lots of different things. All right, let's hear
Mhm.
about some of your other jobs.
Okay, so I have a background in physics, so that's what I did for my degree. And then right out of school, I went into as a physics editor. So what I would do is I would edit physics academic textbooks, and I did that for 2 years. Then after that, I decided I didn't want it anymore, so I moved into research. I became a research assistant. So I was helping people with the logistics of the research. So, for example, professors they would want to carry out research for like a group of people, right, in the country. So what I would do is I would do the administrative side of it. I would plan the location. I would plan the emails to send out to them, raise the research grants for them, book the locations, raise the advertisements in the email in the newspapers for the participants and whatnot. So the administrative side of research that I did, I also did for 2 years. And then after that, yeah, go ahead.
Let's do it one at a time because otherwise I get lost.
Okay.
Because all the information you're giving me is new, so my brain needs more time. So for example, that you're doing admin side of research.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the admin stuff is again Virgo.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's all the Mercury work. Okay, the 11th house, can you just explain again? So you did this research admin for who exactly?
For different professors, and they were all foreign professors. So I was working at a research institute.
Okay, working publicly in an institute for an organization, that's the 11th house. Anything that is organizational and you work in the bigger world,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And they're all foreign professors,
Yes.
Jupiter in Sagittarius.
Mm-hmm.
So different countries as well, or
Yes.
okay, 11th house, different countries. And you said you were doing the admin side, so you were scheduling, Virgo. What else were you doing?
Raising more admin stuff, raising the research grants for the projects to start in the
Are you
first place.
hear the eighth house in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Raising budgets, so that's also shared resources.
Okay, very good.
Purchase of the research materials that I needed.
Well, how do you raise budgets? How do you raise resources?
I place the orders. I confirm the number of equipment that is required, and then I place the order for it. And I also handle the shipping, as in shipping details and whatnot.
Okay. So placing the order, Mars and Virgo in the eighth, right? Virgo
Mm-hmm.
dictates how many numbers exactly you need of something. And then the Jupiter, the shipment. What kinds of things would you be shipping? What kinds of things would you be ordering?
In my particular case, the most notable study that I was taking part in was a weight loss study. So we were shipping in weighing scales that not only weight the weight of a person, but also the mass, the fat percentage. So that was what I was shipping in.
Okay. So doing research, advancing fields of study.
You could say that.
Okay. And then what was your other work?
Still part of this research assistant work, or as in I have many projects in it as well. Or do you mean like
Okay.
other
Tell me a
posts?
few of the other projects. Yeah. Just try to even get into the Mars, Virgo, Jupiter set. Because as soon as you start talking about it, you're gonna start feeling it. Also,
Hmm.
did you work on like an international team? Did you have to travel?
Yes. Okay. So there were several projects I was on for this particular research assistant role. One of it was a skin study. So what they were trying to do was they were trying to enhance the uptake of skincare for people because there were because like especially for men, for example, they don't really use skincare that much at that point in time. So we're working with the Body Shop. So we had to travel to Bali for the branch manager who was there. So that's one of the travel opportunities that you were speaking about.
Okay. So skincare is Virgo, right? Because Virgo is an earth sign. So dealing with things that are in the physical world and learning about them, and then the Jupiter and Sag would be the advancement. You want more and more people to use it, and you want to figure out how, right? So that would be the 11th house because you try to understand, especially the market, the people, 11th house, the public, and their behaviors. Does that
Yes,
make sense?
yes, it does. And I was
Okay.
again working with foreigners, Bali, and then the research professors were Korean, and then there was an American. So it's all over the place.
Okay. So there's different languages as well,
Yes,
and all different accents.
of course. But I really enjoyed working with them. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess sometimes one of the issues with that is like cultural differences or like language differences, like inexactitude in the language because you're all having to work on a different is that right?
There was one notable incident in Bali, uh, when we had this like particular scheduled timing, but then they were a little bit late. So at first we were a little bit worried, but it turns out that there's actually a difference in culture. Singapore is very efficient, like we wanted to be like on the dot and whatnot. But over there was some room for error. Yeah. There was some the delay is absorbed, it's fine. So actually that
Mhm.
was a cultural difference that worked out in my favor.
Okay, this also feels like you're studying like 1,000 different things over a lifetime. There's always something new to learn in a different industry, in a new field, how something works.
That's true. Well, I can move on to the next role that I was in. Not even in the same like I was a research assistant, but then I'm also a
Okay.
data analyst.
A what analyst?
Data analyst.
Okay.
So again, that foreign influence is felt because I worked in the tourism board, in a government agency that dealt with tourism.
Uh-huh. But tourism, can you explain more?
So I worked as a data analyst and I was analyzing data for hotel occupancy over the entire year. So like how many people will be staying in certain hotels, how can we predict which hotels will be overfilled? Do we have enough room for tourists to come at certain times? So that's one of so data analyst when it comes to hotel occupancy.
Okay. Do you see the data analysis in Virgo?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because Virgo is taking information and trying to understand what's happening in that information. Mercury. And then Jupiter is that mission to find out how is the system working and how can it reach more people better. So there's the 11th, Jupiter. You also said that you did work in the astrophysics. Did I hear that correctly?
I work as a physics editor.
As a
Sorry,
physics what, sorry?
editor.
Okay. Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
go ahead, yeah.
go ahead.
So I want to know more about that work.
Okay, so that was the very first job that I had ever done, coming out of university. So I was mainly editing manuscripts from, again, foreign authors. Yeah. So that's shared resources, right? Because it's not my manuscript.
Yeah. Whose manuscript was it?
Different physics professors' manuscripts for like academic books, textbooks.
Okay. And then those textbooks so you were just editing, like you were reading through them, looking for grammatical errors or factual errors?
Yes, both. And then also handling the publishing of the book and getting it reached, extending its reach to the wider market, of course, wider
Okay.
academic field.
Do you see that? Mars, Jupiter, Virgo, Sag?
Yeah.
Mars and Virgo would be the editor. Jupiter and Sag would be like the textbook, right? Because it's education. And also like having it reach more people. Sagittarius 11th house. Okay, so you work a lot with words and numbers,
I do.
but lots of them and in different fields of study.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. So do you see the Virgo, Sagittarius kind of?
Actually, I have a question, Emilian. How do squares interact then? Like it's not
Sorry, how are those squares what?
how do squares interact then? Like rather than a sextile or something else. In this particular case that you would see.
Well, it doesn't matter too much overall. What's important is that we work with the facts. So in everything that you've told, there's the Virgo Sagittarius, but it's just the two energies blending together. And then sometimes we find out, yeah, what the square is exactly, because the square means different things in different situations, right? So, I mean, just think about it. In all of this work, what is the challenge for you? What part of that work do you find very difficult or do you not like?
Right, I can say about that. Okay. So I find that this work does not expand my worldview, and that's the reason why I kept switching them. I just felt that my world was too small. So that was the reason why I kept switching careers, because I felt that there was no growth in them.
All right, do you hear the Jupiter in Sagittarius in that?
Definitely. And also I felt that it was restricting my freedom, becoming less of who I want to be. So that's the Jupiter again.
Yeah, I especially feel the Jupiter in that you constantly want to learn and expand
Mm-hmm.
and that this process is never ending. There I feel the tension from Mars. um that is constantly agitating the need to grow and to expand and to learn more. Right? Also because it's Virgo Sagittarius. So Virgo is studying, and Sagittarius is like all the different industries. Okay, so for example, you're working now as a,
IT consultant. So right
and do you
now,
want to keep doing that?
no. Actually, I would like to change my jobs again soon. It's about three
Okay,
years. Yeah.
so what would you do next?
I would like to work in possibly foreign government. What do you call that? Like diplomacy, foreign governance, being posted overseas in embassies. That's again very Jupiter in 11th house.
Yeah, exactly. And what would you do there?
I would be collecting information, reporting. Actually, okay, look, I just applied, but I have not like switched jobs yet. So
But do you hear the Virgo?
definitely,
Yeah, you would be doing again data collection, Virgo. Oh,
you can see, yeah,
by the
every
way,
2 to 3 years. Okay.
this is an aside, and but I still want to just mention it quickly. It's about the transiting Uranus. Is
All
it
right.
2 degrees, squaring your Mars and opposing your Jupiter? That's going to be the rest of this year. So therefore, I see you applying and potentially switching jobs very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but okay, let's go back to the.
That's cool.
Okay,
Do you think because it's a square, that's the reason why like I can't seem to, stick in one and just fulfill that?
exactly.
Because I mean, otherwise I would have just found a position and just did the same thing, right? Like did a Virgo-esque job, right?
Exactly. Yes. Right? Because Sagittarius is let's grow more. Let's see what's next. Let's see what else. Let's try a different industry. Let's do something more modern. Right? And it's Jupiter there. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like you just want to try it all. Your mind can fit just everything in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so that you keep doing way more work in way more industries than I guess anyone I've met. Right? So there's Mars, Jupiter, Virgo, Sag.
Do you think this has an effect on, I don't know, discernment in a good or bad way? Because actually I have had feedback telling me that I just absorb everything and then it's like I didn't audit the information yet.
Can you repeat your question?
Do you think this is do you think this particular aspect also speaks about a low or high discernment in a sense? Because one area of feedback I've received is that I absorb information easily like a sponge, but I may not always audit the information. So sometimes sometimes like I didn't question the source of the information. That's something that I'm learning, but it's still in progress. Still work in progress.
Interesting. You
Yeah.
didn't audit the source of the Can you give an example?
There was one time I read somewhere that um, hair holds memories, and so the more you channel, the more memories you access. Oh, we are talking about spiritual stuff now. The more the more you channel energy from universal source, the more memories you access, and therefore your hair grows longer. And therefore, the correlation is that if you channel more, you have longer hair. But then this was a false conclusion that I later found out.
Okay.
So yeah.
I s- Okay, that's interesting. Um, yes, that makes me think about Virgo Sagittarius as well. Because again, Virgo is just reading information, and Sagittarius is all the different, like this, for example, is so far out. It's very spiritual, kind of.
Yeah.
And so that you also access information that is maybe not reliable, or it's kind of made up, or it's very fanciful. Yeah, that
And which
feels very Virgo Sag.
aspect of it do you say it was? Is it because of the Jupiter or what?
Hmm. I would say it's more about the natures of Virgo and Sagittarius. Virgo is, the one to just kind of read and sort information, whereas Sagittarius can also like make things up and be very extraordinary and very exaggerated. I also just feel the Mars, because Mars is like sometimes, it's the planet of war. And so it's when you have issues as well in the sign where Mars is sitting. And Virgo is the sign of studying. And so, for example, I can imagine you doing too much in too many fields, and you start to get even mixed up because you have so much information that you're covering, and it's all from different sources. And so how do you even bring it all together? I could see that being a challenge.
Mhm. That's a good point. Yeah, it is quite true. Let's see. How can I think of examples to support your points? There was one period of time where, yeah, besides the spiritual stuff, there was one period of time where I started going to biology, going to physics, even though that wasn't really my field of study. And then I I started confusing myself with some of the concepts, of course. So I think I can kind of see what you're saying.
Yeah, do you see that? Mars, Virgo, Jupiter. Going to too many studies, and you're like, whoa. Okay, I can see you working on several different books as well, or reading books on different subjects at the same time, or working on things that require many fields of knowledge. And also working with lots of really smart people, and finding people who are experts as well in a field.
Actually, yes, I can kind of see what you're saying. Working in a field that requires many different specialties or technicalities. So right now, in my current role, they are transitioning towards offering solutions, which means that you need a person who knows how to operate many different kinds of technology and then suggest the right technology for a solution. So I can kind of see that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Mm,
working with different kinds of software
yes,
throughout
as
your
a
life.
toolbox. Yeah.
Yes. Having to learn many processes, administrative processes, and
Hmm.
also in different languages, different countries.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you start to kind of feel into that square? Do you see the pattern?
I don't know, to me, the pattern is like just the dissatisfaction between what I'm seeing versus what more else I could be doing. Like right now,
Okay.
even right now, I have like many projects running at once, and today I woke up thinking, oh my god, why am I eating breakfast so slow? I wanted to do this.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah.
do you start to see the difficulty in the Mars Jupiter?
What the
Virgo
difference
Sag,
between
you have
realism?
so many projects that it just lifts you away, like you're immediately floating.
Versus the constraint of reality, as per Virgo.
Okay. So can you say more about that? What about that agitates you? What are all the projects you want to get to? And how do you jump between them?
Like currently, I'm looking for new jobs, so that's one of the projects. I'm also working on vocal confidence. I'm learning how to, breath work and how do I, present myself better. So that's another course that I've been taking. There's also another course that I want to take, but then, again, the agitation is that I want to do it now. But then the course only opens in September, and that has to do with public image. How would I position myself for networking, for in the workplace and whatnot. So those are like three projects. I mean, I have many of them going on, and I think the impatience is like I want to do it now, but like I can only study one thing at a time, and there's only so many hours in a day, right? Like today is what, Sunday, and then tomorrow I have to work, so I got no time to study tomorrow. So like the desire for expansion is kind of being constrained by reality.
Yeah, it feels like also you work with big companies that like I could see you working for SpaceX, for example.
Why
Yeah,
do you say
working,
big companies?
huh?
Why do you say big companies?
Jupiter in the 11th, Sagittarius.
So I interrupted what you were saying. I think you
No,
were
no,
you
you
had.
didn't. You didn't. I'm just thinking more. And if you have more to say, you always can.
Okay. Do you think this also has an effect on the way I tend to approach problems?
Okay, of course. Yeah. And how is that?
Hmm. Okay, so right, from what I understand, mass is the way we deal with like how we attack, right? In a sense, how we move in the world. So
Okay.
for me, when I feel like threatened or uncertain about something, I tend to start, going to the analysis, like, okay, so what is this person like, understanding like just trying to understand everything. And I think the
Yeah.
square comes about when I start overthinking and expanding things to worse than they are.
Yeah, very good. I hear the Mars in Virgo very much that your strategy is to analyze, to understand, to figure things out, to place them somewhere mentally.
Yes. But then I have been told that I go into overthinking. Like certain things that are like, just like this, you can take at face value. I start going into like, okay, what is the implication of this? Okay, what's the implication of that? So I
Yeah,
think that's
exactly. There's
yeah.
Jupiter and Sag, right? Trying the implication, Sagittarius, right? Because to find the implication, you have to take a step further. There I see the Sag. It's you're no longer working with data. You're trying to see the meaning.
Mm-hmm.
What is the trend? Or what
Yeah.
is the higher perspective, Sagittarius?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I guess that's always your work as well, right? You do analysis, but then what is the implication of the analysis? What is the suggestion? What is the recommendation that comes from what you discovered?
Okay, I can think of a square in my work already. So the thing is that
Okay.
my current workplace uses a lot of this eight house. I mean, a lot of this mass thing where I'm supposed to, handle a lot of incidents, handle documentation and whatnot. But I think the square comes about because I am unable to see I'm unable to use my pattern recognition skills in it. It's more like just if there's an incident, you have to handle it firefight. So that's also the square that causes me to want to leave.
Uh-huh. How do you get along with the people that you work with?
Oh, okay. I find it a little bit okay. They're fine. They're good. They're generally friendly, but I think I tend to be more of a to the point, get tasks done kind of person. And I realized that in my current company culture, they prefer to have a little bit of a soft touch. So they have lunch together. They do karaoke after work. When they speak when they ask you for things like to work together, they usually go like, "Oh, how are you?" And then they're gonna talk for like what 5 minutes before they actually get into the task. So yeah, so
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay, it feels like you're also involved with Singapore somehow. Or maybe like international relations. Yeah, that feels right. International relations. Yeah, it reminds me of you doing the tourism industry, actually. But this
mhm.
to me also feels like building, like software enterprise, or in fact, like real estate expansion, or like market expansion of some kind for companies.
Yes, actually, it's a very good point that you brought up because I have been trying to look for roles that allow me to grow things, nurture and grow things, rather to be able to move more into strategy rather than the minutiae of stuff like operations.
Yeah. But you always have minutia to do, I feel like.
I know, but I cannot be like 100% of my time. No.
Oh, there I see the square as well, because there's the administrator, Virgo, and then there's the expansionist, Sagittarius. That makes me think you also ask question like you love to meet people, network, and ask them lots of questions, like understand things very well. Yeah, take different courses and always on different subjects. Like your brain has no end to how much it wants to learn.
Actually, it thrills me very much to be working with people from different cultures because, it's like a chance to adjust myself, to learn different mannerisms and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I wonder if the square comes about because there is this
Uh,
like, yeah.
I feel like working with big budgets. That's coming up for me now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Do you? Do you work with big budgets?
Currently, I do not, but it is something that I'll think about. Maybe I should
Yeah,
look. Yeah.
managing many different assets. I could see you being an accountant. Did you ever do accounting?
I thought about it, but I felt like it was a little bit dry.
Okay.
Probably it's the square again with the 11th house.
Yeah. Do you ever like compile lots and lots of documents?
I do. I do. As a research assistant, as well as for physics, there's a lot of the compilation of other people's work.
Yeah, there we go.
But then again, the square comes up. So after a while, I get bored.
Why? Where does the square come up for you?
I get bored of doing that.
You get bored.
There's no expansion.
Uh-huh. What, how come not? Because it's like because you don't see your influence growing in the world, kind of?
That's a good question. What do I think growth is? Okay, I think growth in relation to myself is about acquiring new skills, new outlooks in life. So the thing is that if I were to just compile documents, I would be picking up knowledge, but then there is no change in there's change in the intellect, but there's no change in the way I navigate the world.
Okay, there's the square to Jupiter in Sag, because that's the bigger question of how you navigate the world, how you see the world, how many perspectives you're accessing. Whereas Mars in Virgo is just compiling the papers and doing the research work and doing the analysis. So there I see the square and why you're changing jobs every 2 years, right? Because they're both immutable signs. You do the work of compiling for someone for a while, and then you get bored because you want to expand your perspective again.
Mm-hmm. So I think an ideal work environment for me would be something that allows me to use the analytical qualities of Virgo, but that also I think in a field that allows me to expand. So maybe metaphysics.
Yeah. Okay, so you're getting more into metaphysics.
Yes.
Okay. I can see you having questions like, okay, but if it's like this, then what does that mean here? Or how does this work there? Like, yeah, just always taking it to the next, like you see what's happening and then you're, so what's the next step?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and what if it's like this, then what's the underlying principle? And then we can apply it to other things.
I feel like sometimes that the square in that also can be like you almost don't sit with an answer. It's like, okay, so what's the next question? And almost maybe even doubt or can't reach a conclusion.
Mm-hmm. If it's like this, why is it like this? You have to give me a reason. Or is it going to be like this forever? Or is it context dependent? Is it time dependent? Questions of that nature. I guess you can see the square there.
Do you have more questions than people are patient for sometimes?
Yes, which is why I learned to develop the skill of just doing my own research. Yeah. Sometimes people So they don't understand the question, which is not to say lah. Yeah.
Yeah, wanting to understand things at the highest level.
And I just think it's such a pity that sometimes, certain traditions and ancient knowledge has been distilled where they kind of give you instructions on why certain things are done, but you don't know why. You don't know why it was done this way. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Do you think this square aspect has anything to do with being more forward looking versus being more traditional, stuck in the
Yes, totally. Can you give an example of that?
past? A part of me wants to respect tradition, but there's always this part of me that always wants to be asking, okay, why was this there in the first place, and does this still apply? So, for example, in the Chinese culture, I'm Chinese. The Chinese culture, you are tasked to respect your elders, and you are supposed to take care of your parents or whatever, as part of your role of filial piety. So then, this is part of me that wonders, you would have to, like, yes, there is this role, but what about the corresponding role? You need your parents to fulfill the role of like taking care of a child before you. I don't know. I feel like there are conditions. It's not. It shouldn't be like unquestioning, like, oh, filial piety, and uh, therefore I am entangled with my parents. Or I'm entangled with my lineage. What if I want to break out of that lineage?
Yeah, that's totally Mars Jupiter. Because Jupiter is also the beliefs that you get from your family, from your country, from your experiences, right? And you have that need for an expansive worldview. Makes me think also about you working with lots of foreigners. And in doing so, inevitably, you encounter new perspectives, different ways of doing things, right? So in your chart, there's that theme, the Mars Jupiter square, of doubting things, wanting to understand them more, wanting to ask more questions about them, not accepting them at face value, challenging,
Actually, I like
challenge.
it when people challenge me. I like it when people
Yeah,
challenge me.
and challenging people's beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not accepting, asking more questions. Maybe sometimes that's annoying for people too, that you want to understand what they're saying better. And so you're trying to get into it. Maybe there's nothing behind it, so they can't answer you. Right? But needing to understand why do people say what they say? Virgo Sag.
I wonder if this
Does that
also
make
ties
sense?
in. Yes, it does. It does very
Okay.
much. Actually, I wonder if this ties into my attitude towards being challenged. I actually really like to be challenged. Like, I want to be challenged because if they have a valid point of view, it actually makes me very excited. I feel like a lot of people, they take challenge as a combative thing. But for me, it's like, if your perspective is valid, I would be listening, and I'll be willing to change it if it's right and if it makes
Yeah.
sense. Do you think that's the mutability, or do you think there's something else?
Yeah, totally. The adaptability. But then in the pursuit of knowledge, that's the Mars Jupiter, right? Mars is war, and Jupiter is learning.
Mhm.
And Virgo is again asking the questions, getting to know something, where Sagittarius is like the implication, the belief, the projection of something. And so there the square for me is like being challenged in your own worldview, but also challenging other people by asking lots of questions and trying to understand the why and the how and the when and so forth.
Mhm.
Right, but here I can also see you kind of never accepting just one way of seeing things. It's like your mind is constantly shuddering. It's moving between perspectives. It's saying, well, what about this? And I see this, and here's this. Right,
That's
so
very
never being able to like land or accept something, which can make the mind really work a lot, right? Like it never stops, it never gets anywhere because there's always some, okay, let's look at the next thing.
that's very true. Yes, I actually had to start taking magnesium supplements just to just to slow things down a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
this
nerve,
is
the
very
nerves,
intense. That
the nervous
square.
system. Yeah,
Huh?
Virgo is a very nervous sign, right? I tend to be a little bit more nervous. That's why I had to take the supplements.
Yeah. Okay, good. Let's pause there for today. What do you think? How do you feel?
I just think it's incredible. Like it's very really cool, you know, being able to link my experience to what the aspect means. Yeah, because I feel like astrology can be so abstract, but then you know, when you link it to real life examples, it's like wow. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you start to feel a connection to the chart. You're like, aha.
Yes, exactly. So I feel like a lot of people, you know, who don't understand astrology, that wants to go like, oh, it's mumbo jumbo, you know, it's oh, you know, what is this talking about? It's just, you know, planets in the sky. And then when you link it to real life experiences, like, look at this,
I'm
look at
seeing
this.
you also
Yeah.
have
Uh-huh.
lots of kind of let's say spiritual artifacts. Like
Oh
I'm
yeah,
seeing beads, I'm
you
seeing
can see all the
stones.
crystals. Yeah.
Okay, the crystals would be Virgo, right? Because it's earth element.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jupiter would be the spiritual quality. And also I can see that you've kind of collected them from different places. It's not
Yes.
all one collection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, good. I'm gonna stop recording. So Rachel and I are signing out for anyone that's listened.